Bob Iger is one beleaguered CEO at the Walt Disney Company these days. Having successfully taken out his successor, Bob Chapek, the big guy is back in town. But the town is not so much fun any longer. The same wackos he brought in to help him with his political ambitions before have seemed to sunk the company. And now he's busy trying to flush them out as best he can. But can he do it? Well, perhaps not in the time he thought was available. And so Bob Iger may now be, according to Fox Business, seeking an extension going into 2025 as the head of Disney in a desperate attempt to save his legacy. Welcome back, everybody, to another fantastic video here on the WDW Pro Channel. We aim for excellency as we endeavor to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. As we were going into the Pro Show Live on Thursday, which by the way is every Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, breaking news broke out as it so often does. Bob Iger, according to Fox Business, just may be looking to get an extension. And although you might wonder why in the world would the board and others behind the scenes at Disney want to give him that extension? Well, it could be that they are looking for stability. There is such a loss and such a drop that maybe they are hoping that the only man who can save them now is the very man who put them in this position. Perhaps he can get rid of the saboteurs. Now, no, I'm not suggesting that the people at Disney are sabotaging the company purposefully. But when you bring in ideologues who are not there to do anything of merit, but are rather there to socially engineer the world and children's programming, well, you've got a problem. We dove into this topic as it was breaking live. You're going to enjoy this one as we take a look at a clip from the Pro Show Live this past Thursday. We've got a tweet out of @StockMarketNews. Now, this is not some fly-by-night, unknown kind of Twitter handle or account. This thing has more than 300,000 followers. It is an aggregator of the latest stock news, business news, etc. Here's what it is saying. Disney CEO Bob Iger is now reportedly likely to seek a contract extension beyond his current one, which expires in December of next year. Apparently, this is coming out of Fox Business. This releasing at 3:38 p.m. Not sure if that's Eastern, Central, etc. Whatever the case may be, it happened either just before the show started or it happened as the show was beginning. Folks, here's why I think we give this some serious credibility. When we brought you the news the other day that Alan Bergman and Dana Walden had major disagreements about Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy and what to do with those two, that was odd to me.
Yeah.
Now, we brought it to all of you because it was the truth, as best as we can tell, and we believe our sources. We appreciate the intermediary who helped us get that. Perhaps that person's on the panel. But the thing about that is, if Dana Walden is indeed the heir apparent to Iger's position for next year, then it makes very little sense that anybody would be fighting her too hard because, well, they would know what she says really goes. If Iger, however, is going to continue on as the CEO, which is his modus operandi in the past, if the board has lost confidence that they can swap to anybody else in the middle of this maelstrom, well, you can understand why there's infighting behind the lines at Disney. You can imagine why that would be a huge disappointment and why you would begin to see people taking up their shields and their swords, a metaphor, of course, but if Dana Walden and Bergman are fighting, you've got some of the biggest execs at the company battling it out over what to do with Kathleen Kennedy. This is big, big news if
Here's
this comes
her chance
true.
to take over.
I'm in love with him.
Tom, while we wait for Valiant to get his communications worked out,
I honestly think this has more to do with Christine McCarthy stepping down than anything.
Yeah.
I think she was meant to take his role, and when that, and this is where I think some of us were saying is to where this was not like she was forced out or anything like that. She made this choice. They said that they said it themselves. She's going to be hanging around to help pick her, successor. I think the initial plan for the longest time was for her to take over for Bob once things settled down, and that did not happen, at least not in the time frame she was hoping for. And now I think they're stuck in a position where they have to find somebody who's more equipped to handle this role, and Walden is not the person. And I think the fact that there's been fighting going on proves that. And I think Daddy Iger is going to use this as an excuse to prolong his stay at Disney. I could be wrong. That's just my gut instinct right now with everything that has transpired in the last few months. Indiana Jones is just another, another problem onto the fire here at this point. Kathleen Kennedy, as far as a worry on that point, is like a lower on the totem pole thing because they've got a million other things to deal with. They already knew Indiana Jones was going to fail going into this. As far as I think you guys uncovered most of all with like the thing that Jacob from Society Review sent us to, like the day before you guys came on and showed us the better version. The survey, that is the marketing department trying to save their butts right now. That's what I see from that. I see this whole thing as, everybody's trying to pass the buck on that end. Bob's got a million, other things to worry about before Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm is just one studio among many right now. Elemental also failed. This is a bigger problem than just one or two things. This is a whole studio and a park and a business as a corporation that's crumbling, and they need Bob Iger to get his shit together, apologize for the language, or get somebody in here who can get this going, because I don't know what the musical chairs thing is all about here, but it's...
Yeah. So, well, let's go to Lorena first. Lorena, welcome aboard. You're coming in at the time of breaking news, according to apparently Fox Business. They're claiming that Bob Iger, current CEO of the Walt Disney Company, and perhaps for eternity, that he is seeking an extension to his contract going past 2024. Lorena, my thought on this is that Iger is a man about his legacy, and he's not going to exit the company at a time when his legacy would be damaged because the company's on a downfall. And he wants to try everything in the world to try to get this thing going back up before he exits. What do you think?
I 100% agree with you. I'm pretty sure Iger doesn't want to leave with this nasty stain on his record with everything pretty much burning down around him. Mm-hmm. His ego will not allow him to leave with that type of thing happening and having that follow him around as... You're the dude where Disney went to hell in a rocket and it was on your watch. So he's definitely, he's not going anywhere. I'm not surprised. Not surprised at all.
All right, well, let's go to Valiant. I know Valiant, you don't have much time. Is your connection better, Valiant?
It is. I'm sorry. I had OBS open. I was recording something in the background and I've got to leave shortly, but
Valiant, talk about the timeline here too. As you give us your comments, this seems more than coincidental to me that at the moment that Indiana Jones is failing this badly, we're just 2 days out of Independence Day. We're 1 day past the emergency meetings we're told happened at Lucasfilm with those execs being brought back from vacation to Burbank. We don't yet know the result of those emergency meetings. Those were extremely hush-hush. We are working on that. We don't know yet what happened. The next day, though, we're getting info out of Fox Business that Iger is seeking an extension. Valiant, walk us through what all this means.
Well, quite honestly, it doesn't surprise me one bit. There's been rampant speculation for, frankly, months now by the financial industry that Iger's probably not going to go anywhere because the search for a successor to this point seems to be going nowhere itself. And it seems unlikely that he would leave at the end of 2024, considering where Disney is right now, considering what they have coming up. That speculation over the last several months has then turned into murmurs from other places. I think even Matt Bellamy, Puck Magazine, had an article the other day. I've been kind of collecting various things over the past few weeks talking about Iger staying or going. Again, at this point, it is pure speculation, and it has been now for the last several months. But to that end, is there anything concrete yet? I haven't seen anything concrete. I don't know if this is more speculation from what the inside Wall Street Beltway discussion is, or if they've actually heard something more particular since then. But it doesn't surprise me at all. Who is going to succeed him? I don't think Christine McCarthy, quite frankly, was ever in serious contention to take over that spot. And quite honestly, I think that's one of the reasons that she left. I think once she found out that she probably wasn't going to be the person that would be tapped to take the big chair, she decided, well, then I don't need to stick around. Like I said, I've had cancer twice. My husband has been sick. You know what? This is about to be a mess, and there's no road forward here for me. So, let me move on from that. And then
a similar thing happened with Jay Rasulo back when he was CFO of the company.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of how it works. And there's talks about, well, might they try to patch up with Tom Staggs and get him back and all this other kind of stuff? Would Dana Walden take the chair? Again, unlikely. At least at this point, I just don't see it. I think Iger is going to stick around for as long as Iger wants to stick around. If the board asks him, would you stick around an extra year or two? Iger's going to say yes. He's sticking around anyway, because as soon as he retires as CEO again, he still has 4 years and 2 months or whatever it is on that advisory contract. He didn't leave.
This man might be 90. He might be 90 before he's done as a consultant.
He's not going anywhere unless and until, and this isn't the same kind of thing. Folks are out there thinking, well, it's just like Kennedy. She's not leaving until she wants to leave. No. This is different. The power level that Iger has versus what a Kennedy has, we're talking about orders of magnitude different here. Iger is going to stay around as long as the board wants to keep him and as long as the major institutional investors want to keep him. And it's not necessarily, and this is what's key to understand, folks, it is not necessarily the idea that everybody thinks that Bob Iger is the best thing since sliced bread. It's the fact that who the hell do we get to replace him?
Right.
And that's the problem. It's the same thing as replacing somebody at a big studio, which is why is Kennedy sitting there? Who do you replace her with?
That's what I'm scared of.
And that's what I was saying pretty much too. And I'm glad to hear you say that, Valiant, because that's kind of where I was thinking too with this whole Christine McCarthy thing. Her stepping down, the way it came about, something didn't seem right. And then, him, if he's actually doing it, he's going to use this as an excuse. We need to find somebody who can do this job. And clearly, if they're fighting with this Dana Waldron or whatever you say her name, then she's not the one.
No.
But also I was going to say, also the other thing to put in here is, who wants this CEO job?
Right now, nobody.
It's not like there's a bunch of CEOs that you can pick from, and you have to be particular about, do you even want to bother dealing with the train wreck
ship? Exactly,
that is Disney,
And for the board, it's too much turmoil at a time when there has been so much transition. 7,000 people, some of them in very high-level positions have been removed from the company, right? And Bob Iger seemingly has this grandmaster vision, but at this point, with so much going on, do we let this guy go right now? I don't think they want to be in a Bob Chapek situation again.
Why do I fear that Bob Iger is one day going to announce on the news that we have like 50 Star Destroyers underneath the sand at Disney and they're going to rise? Like,
no, let me tell you,
nobody worried about.
Work.
Nope.
Here's something to be worried about. If Bob Iger stays, does he really have the kahunas to get rid of Kathleen Kennedy? So far, he has not taken any steps to get rid of her or fix these studios. I don't know that she goes if he stays. And also, Valiant, I know you're short on time, so let me give you one more question. Tell me what you think about this. We're looking at the infighting between Dana Walden and Alan Bergman. That did not make sense to me, considering we all thought that Dana Walden was the heir apparent as the next CEO. Now, if Iger is staying, well, it makes perfect sense why there would be fighting, because she isn't the person in power ad infinitum. So what do you make of all this?
Well, look, what I was about to say earlier was nobody wants to be Bob Chapek again. And that's just it. That's the bottom line. People give Bob Chapek a bad rap. Well, the problem with Bob Chapek was that Bob Iger didn't frickin' leave. He didn't even give Bob Chapek the executive office when Chapek came in. He kept it because he still had a contract with Disney. And everybody out there knows, and this is the nasty little secret out there in that realm that nobody wants to talk about, but everybody frickin' knows, is that nobody wants to have to come in with Bob Iger still looming in Burbank in the C-suite, not even giving up his own office in a quote-unquote advisory capacity, because we all saw what they did to Bob Chapek. Who in their right mind wants to step into that position? So one of the reasons the issue, and remember, what was the biggest criticism of the board last time? Well, the succession plan wasn't that good. Was the succession plan not that good because Bob Chapek, or was the succession plan not that good because they let Bob Iger stick around, who had created all of these giant freaking time bombs and disastrous messes at Disney that Chapek had to just pick up and run with? Who else wants to actually do that? The answer is probably nobody.
There were other
You know,
board members
every
trying
time
to ask other board members to be the CEO, and they were like, "Nope, not going to do it. I'm not going to step into this role." So
Nah,
it's
no,
like,
they
if
would
you're
play it
not
off
going to
as-
do it, then how can you ask anybody else to do it?
Fash, they would
Yeah.
play
every
it off as
time
Survivor, with
every
Jeff
time we describe what happened to Bob Chapek, I just imagine that he's out there in the audience listening on his own private beach. He raises the little umbrella glass and says, "Cheers, fellas." And that is a wrap. Another one is in the can, folks. We hope you enjoyed it. And if you could, think about clicking that like button, share, subscribe. And when you click it, you stick it to the algorithms. It is, in fact, that little notification bell. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, unlike the folks at Disney who are struggling greatly, you can continue to learn, to grow. And you know what? To keep having fun.